Welcome to another basic character guide where we go over the general use of a character, skills that you may prioritize over others, and possible team ups that will most benefit the character specifically. So today we're looking at Sterne, Knight of Ruin. Definitely a hard-hitting dark unit. I just feel for a cost 100. He's one of those characters that just don't really feel like it. And starting off with Catastrophe, kind of a situational technique, but it still has its uses in certain situations. Lowering agility is always good, but this is also something that can get him killed, so definitely something to watch out for. Hazard Render is one of those skills that I really don't like just because it consumes HP, but the fact that it's an AoE and it can lower defense makes it very powerful. Ruinous Resonation is something you would never turn off. It's one of his most powerful buffs, and he's kind of one of those selfish characters that want to buff himself, so this is something you would definitely want to prioritize. And you have to consider if you're running him with bells, because he's going to cast bells before he would do this. And finally, Barrier Breaker, something else you also will not turn off. It's crucial when you need it, and there's nothing else really to say about it. I like his normal sub job strictly because of double attack. This is another skill that bestows Light Eater, but the 2-hit is definitely the main draw. Demonic Heal is like okay. I wish it was like a heal for a set amount of HP. That would have been better, but it's honestly not that important. So for Samurai, the high points in this one are definitely going to be Illusion. If you're trying to run him for evasion, this will help keep him back while at the same time giving him that evasive buff and more time to probably apply something else. But chances are you're only going to really get like 2 things, but depending on the map, you're probably going to want to keep him back. So definitely something not bad to go for. Night Veil, if you can land that blind, it's really useful. But if you're running him at 50 Faith, it's nothing I would really want to rely on. I'm not sure if this is Kung Gao, but the AoE Pierce can be very strong. The Machine Killer is nice if you're hunting 9S or 2B, but you don't really see a lot of them around anymore. Aside from that, if you're trying to raise your bravery the good old-fashioned way, go for it, but I would definitely level it up. As for Assassin, Pillaging Blade is probably the only thing you would really want here. It's really good if you're farming for currency. Just turn everything off in this kit and you're pretty much good to go. Sterne to me is an odd character. I feel like both of his support abilities, Blade Soul and Desperation, really boost his evasion as well as Dark Shadow. But with his master ability, I feel like it boosts his attack capability a lot. It gives him a barrier that's similar to Laswell but way better. It only blocks 1 attack. So generally after that, he's probably going to die. So you're putting a lot of stock in his speed and possibly his evasion. But I feel like you're going to have to do a lot of things to try and get him to where you want him to be as far as like survivability. Offensively, he's not going to have any problems mowing down people. It's pretty much just getting in range and not dying before you get there. As far as pros and cons go for the character, it's going to be really easy for him to deal a lot of damage. He's a hard-hitting unit. If he can survive some damage, he can heal it right back with his limit break. He just doesn't have any means of dispelling courage or re-raise, so even if he can deal a lot of damage, he's going to find himself in a situation where he may leave them at 1 HP and then after that he's just completely demolished. He's not going to have a lot of defensive capabilities, and there's a lot of speedy units in the game, so even if you're trying to make him really fast, it's not going to be that difficult for somebody else to make a faster character than Ruin Sterne could be. I feel he's extremely squishy, he doesn't have reflex, and the ability to negate 1 attack is not really that strong when there are multiple characters that can chain up to 3. But as far as PvE goes, he's still very useful, excellent at setting people up. You're just going to need somebody else to set up a Dark Imperil and he's pretty much good to go. As far as team ups go, I feel like he's still somebody who's going to possibly rely on a tank. That way if you're using Swift Slash, maybe he can blitz past the enemy and your tank is in range and they'll just go right past him. It would keep him out of the range of AoEs, but that could also backfire and he'll be the first one dead. He doesn't have any guaranteed hits, so you probably want to pair him up with somebody else who does, and definitely build him for accuracy if you're trying to take him into a PvP fight. He needs somebody who can set up a Dark Imperil. He can break barriers and lower defense, so that's not going to be as big of a deal. He just doesn't want to be the center of attention. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Ruin Sterne. A cost 100 that does not feel like one, but still useful in his own right, and definitely the coolest Sterne out of the 2. But aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.